What is up, DNS squad? Thank you so much for coming back to another video. And also, if you have not, go back to our other videos so you know exactly what is going on in this episode right here. So in today's episode, I'm so used to Dwayne, sorry guys. I'm going to be talking more into a story time. Remember when I told you guys in a previous video that I was going to do a story time? So today is that story time for you guys. So I'm going to start off by talking about my son's dad and when we first started. So here we go. We met when he first got stationed out here. He was in the military at the time. And I was 18. And it was like on this like website, like this dating website. I don't even know what it was called. It's like so old. But so at the time he like messaged me. He's like, "Hey, how are you?" I was like, "Oh, I'm good." And then we just like started talking for a while. And then he was like, "Oh, we should hang out." So it was like probably 2 weeks later we hung out. And he was like, "Yeah, I just got stationed here." And I was like, "Oh, that's really cool. How do you like it so far?" And he liked it. And it didn't take long at all. It was in March. And so right after that, that's when we started dating. So like I said, it did not take long at all. We started dating March 7th of 2013. So yeah, that's crazy. It seems like so long ago. Actually it was, but still. So after that, he just like it was a Sunday and it was after church. We went to go eat breakfast at IHOP. And so I was like, I told them like I was like into this guy and I wanted to date him. Like low key we were like dating already, but yeah. So my dad was like, "Okay, you can invite him." So I texted him and then he was like 5 minutes away anyway. So he's like, "Yeah, you can come. I'll come and meet your family." So he met all my family, and it was funny because like I can picture it like because he like stood like my dad stood up and he like shook his hand really hard and he was just like, "Okay," because you know like in the military they have like that firm hard like handshake. Yeah, that's how it was. And the kids were like so small, it was crazy. Like I can still picture Tiana all cute and tiny, and I mean they were like too young, but they were still like young. But yeah, so that happened, and then ever since he was always coming to my house hanging out. And of course we started, you know, stuff we shouldn't have been doing because we weren't married. So I don't encourage that at all, guys, because like I really don't, especially if you're young. Don't do it. Like you might be tempted to do it, but if you know you're not ready and you're not trying to have a baby, then don't do it. So on to the next. So it was during like spring break. I remember it clear. So it was during spring break. He stayed a night at my house, and he was leaving the same day we were leaving to go to California, because we were going to my cousin's wedding at the time. So he was leaving for training to Wyoming. I was going to California. So it worked out perfect. And we came the same day too. So it was like worked out perfect. So he left at like 4 in the morning. I was like, "Okay, bye. Have a good, you know, trip or whatever. Let me know how it goes." And we were still like, of course, dating at the time. We weren't married. And then so that morning we went our separate way. And then we were in Cali, had fun. And it was weird because I was really, really hungry. And I remember we got In-N-Out this one night. And I was like, "Why am I so hungry? Like, I don't understand." And I was just like kept eating and eating. And I was like, "I'm never like this. Like, maybe it's because like the sea level. I don't know what it is." And then so it was just like so weird. And then so we came back from our trip like a couple days, and it was weird because usually I'm like the one that stays more awake than anyone on the road trips too, and I just kept sleeping. And I think like my mom and dad knew to like, okay, that's weird, like usually she's up. So we came back from our trip, we ate, we were eating some tacos, and I had like some hot sauce and stuff, and then my sides started hurting. And then my dad was like, "Oh, it's probably from the tacos. Maybe it was like the hot like salsa was too hot for you." I was like, "Oh, maybe." But then it just like started getting worse and worse, and I was like, "Okay, maybe I should go to the emergency room." And my mom's like laying me on my stomach in her bathroom. It's like, it's crazy how I still remember this. But yeah, so she was laying me down, and then she was like, "You're not pregnant, are you?" And I was like, no, I don't think so. And then she's like, what you mean you don't think so? And I was like, I mean, I don't know. Like, she was kind of mad, right? So we went to the emergency room, and it was me and my mom and my older sister. She went with us, and then it was the same night that he came. So he came like late that night, probably like 8 or 9, and he didn't want to come with me. And I was like, okay, I'll be back. You know, I'm gonna go to the emergency room because something's not right. And he's like, okay. So he just stayed at my house. And so when I went to the emergency room, they're like, you know, taking blood or whatever, you know, the normal stuff. And then they took a urine test. And then so like an hour later, he comes back and he's like, ma'am, you're pregnant. I was like, what? And then my mom was like crying and my sister was crying, and I just like started crying. I was like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? How am I gonna explain this to him? What if he doesn't want to be with me? Like, you know, because we weren't together long at all. It was only basically 2 months that we were together, and then boom, I got pregnant. Like, that's insane. But yeah, so like everyone's crying, and then they take me back because they're like, we want to get an ultrasound. And then they're like, there's your baby. And I was just like crying more. I was like, I don't care. I don't want to see the baby. This can't be happening. They're like, yeah, it's happening. I'm sorry. I was like, oh my God. And then like I was just like so quiet. My mom was like kind of disappointed because, you know, I didn't know him long. She didn't want me to be a teen mom because at the same time I was 18. And she wanted me to basically have like a better life and wait until I was actually mature enough to have kids. But I mean, it was just like a reaction, you know, and any mom's gonna be like that. But she was like happy after we got home. And then so he was sleeping, so I was going to the couch, and I just threw the ultrasound at him. Like, I didn't know what to do, and he was asleep, so I woke him up and I threw the ultrasound, and I was like, I'm having a baby. And I just like was bawling, like crying, and he was just like staring at it like, okay. And I was like, okay, like, what are we gonna do? But I mean, he was there. And then I remember I was like super excited after, because, you know, emotions were like calming down and stuff. And then so I remember I couldn't sleep like that whole night because I was like, oh my God, I'm like having a baby. Like, I've always wanted to have like kids, and I was super, super excited. My mom was super excited. My dad, of course, was disappointed in the beginning, but you know, everyone was excited because they're like, it's a new life coming into the world. And my little sisters were like super excited. I remember my mom told them, and they like barged into the room because I finally got sleep, and they're like, you're having a baby? There's a baby in your belly? I was like, yeah. And it was just like, it was good, but at the same time it wasn't, because like I felt like like the bigger I got, his dad wasn't really there for me. And it sucks. Like, you think that because they seem so excited that they're really going to be there for you, but then at the end, they're not. And so I had Dwayne December 10th. Crazy, because he's going to be 6. But I had him December 10th of 2013, as a lot of you guys know, and he was so cute. Guys, I literally pushed for like 4 minutes, and boom, he was out. Like, it was so quick. Like, I had the easiest pregnancy. I was like, thank God. But yeah, so after I had my son, that's when things kind of changed. And that's when his dad was working more. Obviously, he's in the military. I understand that military people in general just have long days. But at the same time, he started doing his own thing. Like, he wasn't really helping as much as I wanted him, and thought as a dad he would help. Like, he would just do his own thing, and I'd be like, can you watch the baby, please? I'm really tired. So I like, appreciate my mom and dad because they stepped up. Even though they're like grandparents, they stepped up and they helped me a lot. Even till now, they help me a lot, and I appreciate them so, so much. But yeah, like, you always think that person is always gonna be there for you. Like I said, watch who you're gonna bring into the world. Like, how do I explain it? Like, you really need to think who you want to be your kid's dad. There we go. Sorry, I don't know like really how to explain it. But really, because it got really rough. Like I said in the previous video, I went through a lot of depression because I wasn't getting as much help, and maybe I did have postpartum. I'm not sure. It's just I went through a lot by myself, and I always felt like a single parent. Even when I was married, he wasn't around. He was doing his own thing that he wanted to do. And guys, like I said, it's not worth it. Like, why argue with someone to keep trying to tell them to be a dad, and they keep just doing their own thing? Like, it's not worth it. Just that's when you need to know when to just move on, because it was just bad, like really bad. And we would argue all the time. We got in some physical fights. Like, guys, I'm being very honest with you guys. This video, like, my YouTube channel isn't always going to be peaches and creams. Like, I want to be as honest with you. I want people of all audience to really see where I'm coming from as a single mom with a little boy. And I just want you guys to have like an actual real YouTube where you guys can actually be like, wow, I went through this situation. I want people to connect in a way with me, if that makes sense, in any type of form. And that's why we're doing this series, is because either you can be from a divorced family, or a married couple family, or be a foster kid, or even like a foster parent. Any type of thing you could relate to, I want to be like that thing where you guys can open up and do your own stories for other people. And I think it's really awesome how like everyone in this series has opened up about their lives, and it's gonna be a hard topic, like we said before, for a lot of people. So I hope that you guys are enjoying this like series. I want your guys' input as well. But yeah, so that's basically a little story time. I mean, it's still not easy till this day. I mean, my son's gonna be 6 in December, and his dad still does what he wants. Like, I beg him. I'm like, Dwayne asked for you. Dwayne wants you in his life. Like, okay, it's not always about money. That's the thing with him. Like, everything is about money, and I don't think it should always be about money. Like, I think if you really want to be in your kid's life, you should put effort and come over here to where your son is, because he's getting older. You missed so much already. Like, why would you want to miss any more of his life? And like, I can see that it affects my son, because Dwayne will like be like, oh, how come I don't get to see my daddy like Junebug does, like every 2 weeks? And I like, how do you explain to a 6-year-old, or a 5-year-old, sorry, a 5-year-old, like, that how his dad works? Like, I try to explain my best, but I mean, I don't really know how to explain it to like detail. And it's hard. It's very, very hard, and it's like frustrating. Like, it pisses me off. And like, don't get me wrong, his dad can be the best dad when he wants to be. Like, he loves his dad, but at the same time, I feel like he should be around more. I feel like he should be doing stuff that other dads do. Like, it's hard. It's very hard. But that's about it. That was a story time. I mean, do I regret having my son? No, I love having a kid. Like, he is hilarious. He's crazy. Like, oh my gosh. He's something else. Let me tell you, that boy be acting like he's like 30 years old in a 5-year-old body. But I appreciate you guys. Like I said, thank you guys so much. Oh, guys, by the way, oh my god, thank you guys so much for making it 90 subscribers. Like, you guys really like me? Oh my gosh, like, that's insane. Thank you guys so much. I can't believe I made it to 90. I cannot wait to make it to 100, because we're gonna have a big celebration. But thank you guys so much for supporting me, sharing my videos. I finally know how to share my videos on Facebook, so thank you guys so much for helping sharing. Yeah, don't forget to subscribe, like, and thumbs it up. And I really want your guys' input as well on this series. So comment down below and I will get back to you guys as well. I need to start doing that more. But yeah, so I think that's about it. I just wanted to share a little bit of my story with you guys because I did say a lot in the first beginning. So I feel like I don't want to repeat myself where you're like, oh, we already heard this. But yeah, that's about it, guys. Thank you so much. I looked on my page and I was like, 90 subscribers. Like, whoa, it's still like shocking to me. I had to tell everybody, but thank you to guys again so much. And thank you guys so much for, let's see, watching. Because I don't know why you guys like watching me. Because I ain't that cool. Nah, I'm just kidding. But yeah, that's about it. Bye, guys. Hope you enjoyed.